It's finally Friday night here in Nashville, Tennessee. Got a hankering for a honky-tonk in a backwoods pour of an ice cold something. My boys just hit me up, said, hey, come on down to Broadway. Man, my baby's gonna be upset. Haven't spent much time with her since last week. But I've learned a valuable lesson on how to calm her down. So listen up and heed my words before she lays that hammer down. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. Compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Let's go. Bartender just called, last call, got an Uber on the way. Stop by the old greasy spoon for some famous southern biscuits and gravy. I sobered up just enough so I could deal. And then I rocked my baby, rocked my baby, rocked her like a wagon wheel. When I woke up hungover as heck, I could tell she was still upset. So I held out my arms and turned on the charm. Funny how she forgets. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. Compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Man, life don't always go down easy, but if you wanna make it smooth, listen up, here's a guarantee. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. With compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Yeah, hold her like a beer. You gotta 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 hold her. You gotta hold her. Yeah, nice and firm. You gotta hold her like a beer. What I'm saying. You gotta hold her like a beer. Hold her close, boys. Hold her like a beer. Grab her. Squeeze her. Make her feel loved. You gotta hold her like a beer.
Trato de disimular cuando te veo pasar. Lo de los dos nadie puede saber. Ay, mi chiquita, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Si con el tiempo se me nota más. Cada vez es más difícil, la verdad me gusta tanto. Los panas me dicen cogerlo easy o terminarás en llanto. No me la pones difícil, nos vemos de vez en cuando. Solo con verte el fin de, ya no me estoy conformando. Ay, mi chiquita, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Si con el tiempo se me nota más. Yo la conocí una noche y eso que no quería ir de party. Mis amigos me insistieron pa' que no tomáramos unos tequis. Bailando en la pista fue que la vi. No le importó que estaba acompañada. Me coqueteó, yo le sonreí. Con la mirada me dijo todo. Oh, veo, ¿por qué será que lo prohibido siempre es más bueno? Oh, veo, ¿por qué será que lo prohibido siempre es más bueno? Trato de disimular cuando te veo pasar. Lo de los dos nadie puede saber. Ay, mi chiquita, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Si con el tiempo se me nota más. Cada vez es más difícil, la verdad me gusta tanto. Los panas me dicen cogerlo easy o terminarás en llanto. No me la pones difícil, nos vemos de vez en cuando. Solo con verte el fin de, ya no me estoy conformando. Ay, mi chiquita, ¿qué vamos a hacer? Si con el tiempo se me nota más.
Get on the floor, I got to see you move, show me more, and do that thing you do, cause there ain't no consolation, and for this moment I've been waiting. Gotta see if you got rhythm in your hips, that's gonna transfer from your body to my lips. Do that thing you do, make me fall in love. Do that thing you do, till I can't get enough. Do that thing you do, baby turn it out. Do that thing you do, shake me up, show me how. Do that thing you do. Cause I need another reason, something else I can't believe in. Now don't you make a second more. Give me what my heart's been waiting for. Get up and now and drop it. Nothing gonna stop it. I wanna see your passion to the beat, from head down to you, the bottom of your feet. Do that thing you do, make me fall in love. Do that thing you do, till I can't get enough. Do that thing you do, baby turn it out. Do that thing you do, shake me up, show me how. Do that thing you do, and drop it. Nothing gonna stop it. I wanna see your passion to the beat, from head down to you, the bottom of your feet. Cause I need a thrill, and I need to know it's true. You know I will go ahead and fall in love with you every single time you do. Cause I need another reason, something else I can't believe in. Now don't you make a second more. Give me what my heart's been waiting for. Get on it now and drop it. Nothing gonna stop it. I wanna see your passion to the beat, from head down to you, the bottom of your feet. Do that thing you do, make me fall in love. Do that thing you do, till I can't get enough. Do that thing you do, baby turn it out. Do that thing you do, every single time you do. Thing you do, every single time you do. Thing you do, every single time you do. Thing you do.
Hey, everybody. Welcome.
We're back.
We are
It's April.
back.
It's the end of April already. It feels like I was just here.
It does feel like you're just here. But also what's most important is it's not snowing.
Yes.
Right?
I know. It was really nice to just kind of wear my little shoes and no coat and just walk out the door and not get stuck on the highway. Anyways, I digress. Welcome, everybody, to the We Can't Talk Show with myself, Melissa, and my beautiful sister, Melanie.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back tonight.
Thanks, everyone, for joining in tonight. We got a really cool show to share with you. Tonight's topic is all about sisterhoods and friendships.
Oh, that's us.
That's us.
Yeah.
And that's you guys.
And you guys. Exactly.
But I'm sure you guys are probably wondering what
that
the
mean?
prize is tonight too. So the beautiful Mackenzie Kulik, who is also here as one of our guests tonight, she has donated a girls' night out prize. So it's one night at the Super 8. It's a bottle of champagne, and it's a $75 gift card for Casey's.
Girls' night out.
Girls' night out.
Let's
So,
celebrate women.
Let's celebrate women. Let's celebrate sisterhoods. Let's celebrate friendships.
Yeah, whatever that looks like.
Whatever that looks like. So,
Yeah.
guys, you might be like, maybe I don't need to stay and watch this.
Yes, you do.
Yes, you do. So, one, you can tag the ladies in your life so we can make sure that they get in on this and potentially win the prize.
Yeah.
But two, I was thinking it would be really interesting if the guys can comment and share anything that they find maybe inspiring about friendship friendships with women, or maybe they have any comparisons.
That's what I was thinking.
Right?
Like, I think that there's a huge difference between friendships between men and women. And it'd be interesting to see what some of the men have to say about what we're talking about tonight, right?
I think so. And then all of your comments, obviously, if you end up winning, you can give this very amazing prize to a special lady in your life.
Yes.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us tonight again. Thank you also for all of the Kins and Klom sponsors who are supporting the studio, and Mark and Jamie, and having the space available for us to do the show. We really wouldn't be here if it wasn't for all of you. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. Also, our own sponsors as well. Right. We've got Plan A. We've got cooperators with Miss Lauren Polk.
Financial empowerment coaching with
Jenna Burke.
And then we have Super 8.
Super 8 this evening. Woohoo! Excellent.
So I guess maybe let's start with introducing all of our amazing guests. So as normal, we have guests here in studio. So as mentioned, we have Mackenzie Kulik from Super 8. She's the general manager. And then we have Vanessa Genier, and she is CEO and founder of Quilts for Survivor. And then we have our virtual guests who are joining us from East Coast and Southern Ontario. We have Whitley and Sherry, who are hosts of the podcast Hey Soul Sister. We had this super random connection in the fall, I think, and we just hit it off. And we're like, you guys are sisters and we're sisters. They're not actually sisters. They're best friend sisters, which we're all going to get into. Anyways, I'm rambling. Whitley and Sherry, thank you so much for taking your time and joining us
We're
virtually.
so excited.
Thanks for having me.
I think let's first start with our first segment, and let's talk about some of our personal journeys and sisterhoods and friendships. Mel, do you have anything that you want to add to that first before our guests do, or do you want to just go straight to our guests?
I don't know. You know what, I was thinking about this because I find that the older you get, it sometimes can be it's hard to make new friends. And one of the biggest things I was thinking about was that we've all have different stories and we all come from different backgrounds, and and not everybody can understand what we've gone through, right? But I feel like there's a lot of people out there who just think they remember you for who you were, but they have no idea who you've become. And I think a lot of people can resonate with that. But I was thinking the other day that the biggest thing for me, and I've been talking to a good friend of mine about this, but is that, you know, when you raise children, so I have an autistic child, and it can be very lonely, and it can be very difficult making new friends, and it can be really difficult keeping your good friends because not everybody understands what you go through on a daily basis. And I find that it's harder for me to open up or be more vulnerable to people now as I get older, just because I'm protective of this family that I've created, and it's changed who I've become, right? So I always think about that. Like, you really have to have these connections, I think, at this age, to be able to understand what people go through, right? And I really feel like it's much harder at this age.
It is, and I think too, our lives get so much busier as we get older, right? And you get consumed with the family and the career and all of the things.
It's so hard to keep up with.
I think it's hard to keep up with, and it's something I think that we end up just kind of putting on the back plate, and we don't focus as much of our attention on the sisterhoods and those friendships, but we forget how important and how valuable they are, especially during those times when you feel so lonely and separated from everything else, right?
That's right. Sure. Yeah,
absolutely. The nice thing about sisterhoods and friendships is you always there's that one person. Yeah. Even if you don't talk to them for 2 years,
you can always fall back on that person.
The second something goes on, or something great happens, they're right there for you.
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
And that's always good.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm just getting my microphone checked in. I keep slipping and sliding. Right. So I totally agree. Vanessa, I'm curious to hear some of your stories and experiences and the role of sisterhood in healing. So perhaps first start with Quilts for Survivors. Yeah. Maybe if you can share with some of our audience who may not be familiar with the work that you do.
Certainly. So as mentioned, my name is Vanessa, and I'm a member of Missinabie Cree First Nation. And my spirit name is Summer Sky Woman. And I have 5 children. 2 of my kids are autistic. So there you go.
Look at us making
But they're
a
verbal.
connection.
They're verbal.
Us too. Yeah.
And anyways, that's a totally different thing. Parenthood, motherhood, that's totally different.
Yes.
But I wouldn't be where I was without my sisters, either biologically or sisters from other mothers. And it's very important to your growth as a woman, to have those people that support you, even if they don't understand what you're doing. So I started Quilts for Survivors as a way to honor my relatives who attended residential school. I also had some relatives go to day school, and then there's 60 Scoop, and we honor all of those. We honor First Nation, Inuit, and Métis survivors, and we make handmade quilts, and we present them to the survivors. There's no cost. We're not federally funded. We're not funded by any level of government. It's all by donations and sponsorships. And since we started almost 4 years ago, we've given over 7,100 quilts.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
And I wouldn't be here doing this work if it wasn't for fellow sisters in the quilting world. And there's also male quilters, but a lot of them are female, and they understand the importance of the gift of a quilt and the love and work that goes into a quilt. And because of all the support from across the nation and other countries, we've been able to honor survivors with these quilts and provide healing for the communities and for individuals. And it's amazing. And it wouldn't be possible without all the ladies that come in and gentlemen that come in and help at the studio here locally, but also who are working, in their homes or with their sisters out in their community, working and helping.
I love that.
Absolutely. It's a great form of sisterhood.
Oh, it is. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And just the connections. I was just in Perth last night, and the ladies asked, I was staying with a lady from the guild, and her name was Vicky. And they go, well, how do you know Vicky? I said, well, I met her 2 hours ago in her driveway. And they're like, wait, what? I'm like, yeah, we just met. Like, I didn't know her. And they couldn't believe it because we had formed a quick connection because we had quilting and we had other things that in common. And it was really easy to just...
It's always interesting how sometimes you meet other women and it's instant.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And you get each other, you have the same passions, same experiences, and you're like, meet friends.
Yeah. Yeah. And it just
Let's
happens.
do this. I'd be curious, guys, if this happens with you guys too.
Yeah,
If it's like there's this instantaneous, like, you and I are going to be friends for life.
Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Over just
It'd be sad if
sport,
it didn't.
anything. Just
Right?
Yeah. But I think too, women are a little more emotional. So they're always looking for that connection, right? With some, I think it's in our nature to constantly want to connect and to create these friendships. It doesn't always work out, but finding that common ground, I think is the first good step.
Yeah.
Right. So
Especially when you have that shared passion for giving.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And when you're
It just
talking,
makes so much
and when you talk about, you say something about quilting and they understand, you don't have to explain what you're talking about. Just that connection is really great.
Yeah.
And one thing that I've realized in my life is that some of my sisters were just there for a season or 2 seasons, and then we've moved on, but we're still connected. We're just not as, we don't have to talk every day or every year or every, but we're in, social media helps because you can watch your friends' kids grow up, even though you haven't seen them in decades. You can still be a part of their life. And when you meet them, you're not going, oh my gosh, you have how many kids? Or where did you move? Like you still have that connection.
that's true.
And you can still celebrate all of their wins and be there if they need you.
No, that's for sure.
My absolute favorite is last time I saw you, you were this.
Yeah. Every time.
It's 20 years ago.
Yeah.
It goes by super fast.
It does.
Oh, I love
I
that.
agree.
Sherry Whitley, since you're up on the screen, we would love to talk about sisterhoods and friendship with you two. Now, we know that you two have known each other for a very long time, but our audience doesn't really know a whole heck of a lot about you. So share how your relationship developed. Where did that start? And how did you get to be where you are now, working together? And how has that affected your friendship?
Yeah, I feel
want to talk about it.
we can both. We'll riff off of each
We
other.
can, yeah, we like to like bounce off each other.
But I feel like, so it's interesting because Sherry and I, we always talk about how, we sort of came into each other's paths. Like it was just divine alignment, right? And it's just, it's so crazy how our paths crossed and how we actually formed the bond together. And so I actually was leaving the marketing industry to go into events. We ended up working under the same sort of like space. She was running her second business out of the same space that I was working out of. And so we just kind of like crossed paths. We talked to each other occasionally, but it wasn't until we both found out that we were pregnant. And our boys are literally 9 days apart. And so we actually sort of bonded over pregnancy and, pregnancy stories and all the things.
It was, yeah. And it was funny because we're both the type of people who don't really, it's not that we push people away. It's just that we, we secure our hearts from people. So it's very difficult sometimes to make friends and trust those friends for a lifetime. So for me, I'm very guarded and I don't make lifelong friends easy. Right. And so when Whitley came along, it was like, okay, we're friends. But then we had this common thing, which was our babies. And, through the 9 months of like the pregnancy, we started to realize like we were actually soul sisters who were friends. We had so much in common. And now our kids are literally like soul brothers. Even though we live in two different cities, we have different lives. We feel so bonded to each other. So that's just, it's the beauty of like friendship is like no matter where you are, you just feel connected. And for some reason, God, divine, universe, whatever that is, put us together, right? So it happened in the way that it was meant to happen for us because we weren't going to maybe take the initial steps to be friends, right? To like trust someone like that. So it's a big thing when you can trust somebody with everything and like, because, as women, we grow up with so many friends, but we get hurt, there's a lot of that, I won't say catty, but it is, like the emotional part of being a woman, being a girl. We start to go through these relationships. And as we get older, we kind of have to navigate out of those relationships and into the relationships that truly align with us, and feel like peaceful instead of being competitive or catty or jealous or just like
there's so many
feeling
dynamics, right? There's so many different dynamics I feel like in friendships with women, and there's so many things that we take into consideration, and we feel intimidated or we feel maybe judged about ourselves, or we're judging ourselves, right? And does that person even like me? Do they even want to be my friend? All of these different things that are constantly going through our heads, which I think often makes it difficult to be open to establishing new friendships and relationships with other women. Or maybe that's just me.
I think the environment has a big part of that as well, especially in business and I hate to say it, male-dominated fields. It's nothing but a competition. You have to be the best female in the building. You have to win the awards. You have to be right up here. You can't just be on equal footing. And
or if you show any vulnerability, then it's she's a woman. That's why. And it's like or it's that time of the month. Okay, no. I'm allowed to have feelings and be passionate without or show emotion. Don't be afraid to show emotion so I have 3 boys and I raise them the same way as I raise my girls. You need to cry. If you need to go smash something, I'll help you find something that you can, destroy, because we have to get rid of those emotions and to, make sure that the guys know what to do when, if you're feeling bad, cry or get angry or get frustrated. Or if you're really excited, share that. We want to celebrate with you. That's the same with the girls. Don't be afraid to feel whatever it is you need to feel.
Yeah.
And that brings healing. A couple weeks ago, a survivor who had never been to our studio came into our studio and was coming there to pick up some fabric. They wanted a little bit of fabric from our fabric room. And I said, that's fine. And she needs it for her art. And she's a survivor, and she didn't know we had a quilt for her. But she came in and she just walked around. And at first I wasn't sure what she was doing, but you could tell she was soaking in the space. And our studio is a very safe space. It's really well lit. It's a lot of fun in there. There's everything you could need to make whatever it was you want to make quilt wise.
Yeah.
And then she got really emotional and she cried and she wailed, and you could just see it. And but she was free to express that.
Yeah.
And she said, this space that's for me, this is all here to help me and my people heal from this trauma, was very emotional. And it just solidified that what we're doing is very impactful and very important. But even just having that space where she could feel and not be judged.
That's right.
And not feel like, oh, I shouldn't be crying. I shouldn't be feeling anything.
Yeah.
But being able to do that and no one's judging her, I think that's important too.
I agree. I think it's important too, when we talk about judging, for example, when you are raising boys, as a lot of us are, it's really important for them to understand that women don't think the same way and we don't always react the same way, but it's okay. And we want you to show empathy and not to be scared and run away. If you're, with a girlfriend or your wife and she starts crying, it's okay to be there for her. And it's okay to be emotional with them.
And you don't have to understand what they're going through or why.
You don't need to solve a problem.
No, just being there.
That's
just saying, I'm here. What do you need?
Exactly.
Really helps.
And we may not know.
And most of the time,
I'm not going to lie.
I need a drink. So Sherry Whitley, you had this beautiful friendship forming, shared experiences, becoming friends. Your little ones are becoming friends. What was that? What was the point when you're like, let's do a business together? And how has that changed your friendship at all? Or has it changed the dynamic? Has it made it better?
I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny.
It's been a wild ride, and Sherry and I, we talk about this too, because again, it's like the divine timing. It's just, us being placed in each other's paths for a reason. And I think that we've always sort of like intuitively always knew that we were going to do something together for, a greater purpose. And, Soul Sisters Rise, that is really the premise of us creating a safe space for other women to really show up and to really own their own unique selves, to show up in their feeling empowered, to be their authentic selves, and to do the healing and to feel seen and heard. Because I think it's so important. And Melanie, you mentioned this earlier about that level of vulnerability and how hard it can be to make friends the older that we get. And I think that, kind of building on what Sherry was saying and everyone else was saying in terms of that ability to being able to just put yourself out there, to be vulnerable, to trust, and to really build those deeper connections. Because I think you can only get so far when you're building connections from a surface level. You go to a networking event, sometimes it's like, sometimes it can be awkward, small talk. But I think that when you get through the layers and you get to those deeper, connections, there's so much beauty, and so for Sherry and I, just, her and I decided to go into business together because of this purpose, this mission that we both shared, to really being able to building a platform for women. And so there's definitely been some challenges. I know, Sherry, you can definitely share some stories too.
I mean, no, nothing.
No, I mean, as with any, okay, so let's start from beginning here. We're not really sure we're supposed to work together for these 10 years that we've been friends, but we knew that we kept bringing it up. We're like, we have to do something together. We need to do something together. But it was like almost like we put our hand in it and then we would come out of it because we would have so many other things going on in our lives. And with my business and her business, everything was like, we were trying to find ourselves. We were trying to find our footing in this space. And it wasn't until recently where I feel like both of us went through almost like an identity shift where you start to question your life, what you're doing, how you're impacting anyone in the world right now, what you're doing for money if it's fulfilling you or not. And so you start to question your life. And, you know, we're only halfway through our lives. Well, she's much younger than I am. We're not going to say it. I'm halfway through my life.
Correction.
You know, I want to leave a legacy. I want to leave an impact. I want to connect with women. And for so many years, I shied away from connecting with women because of my own fears, because of my own insecurities, and dimming my light because of that. And so I was like, you know what, I'm a photographer too. I was doing photography for so many years, and I decided, you know, I don't want to, yes, it's service, but it was fulfilling other people, but it wasn't fulfilling me, right? So I want to do something that creates purpose for other women and for myself and for my best friend. And so when we came into this, we were like, you know what, now is the time. It almost felt like it was divinely put there, where we were like, yes, let's just go. And sure, there was so much fear because we're best friends, and working together is, you know, as you guys know, hard. It is a lot, right? Because you have to learn about each other. You need to also learn about each other's working styles, each other's boundaries, how you communicate with each other for work and then personal. So that's been a balance for us, like really understanding our boundaries, really understanding you know, where we need to spend time together as best friends, as soul sisters versus work, because that can be very like murky. And it can get to a place where it feels like you know how when you're angry at somebody and you just like keep it all in and you just like keep quiet. Well, sometimes that happens, right? Because you want to say it, but you don't want to say it. So we've had to learn how to communicate more, even when it was uncomfortable. And having a best friend is something that it takes work too, just like a marriage. It doesn't mean that it's going to be all like glorious and adventures and stuff. There's going to be real conversations that you have to get through, because there's going to be miscommunications. There's going to be things that are hurtful for each other. But if you can both come together and find the common intention in this relationship or in this business that you're running together, then you can make it work. Right. And I think that's the secret sauce, is the communication and the trust and the trust.
Yeah. And I think that there's also like, there's such a beautiful opportunity to really dive in and learn about yourself too, because there's been so many moments that have come up between the dynamic of being in business together that has like really kind of been a mirror and reflecting things back on myself. Like, ooh, I had no idea that, you know, this thing about myself is coming up and that it's showing up now. And so it's really opened up an opportunities for the both of us to grow as people, just even personally. So yeah, it's been amazing. And I can definitely see why some partnerships just completely fail. But I'm really grateful. Yeah, it's been great.
I'm curious to know, based on this experience, has this changed the dynamic of your relationship and friendships with other women? Have you been able to take some of these skills and things that you've learned along the way together and applied them to other relationships?
That's a good question. I feel like it's definitely strengthened our relationship together. And that's a good question.
That's a great question.
Good host you are.
Yeah.
So I didn't even have to ChatGPT it.
I think like, especially like opening ourselves up, right? And Whitley has been opening herself up way more now too. Like both of us have been like just open to the fact of like, we need to like make connections with other women. We need to not just be in our little bubbles anymore, you know? And that's how we connected with you guys, right? It's just opening yourself up to other women, knowing that every woman has a story, and that because our energy, you know, we have to open that energy up to be able to invite other women into our energy. And so I think that's what we've learned through this process, is to open up our energy to other women so that they can feel safe, seen, heard, and validated in their journey. Because for so many years, we have been quietened down. We have been told that we're too much. We've been told that we're not doing enough. We've been told we're too emotional. We've been told that we need to climb the ladder, but also be a nurturer. Like all these things, right? All these expectations as a woman. And when do we get to actually take care of ourselves? Like, this is the thing. It's like, we've always been fed those stories. And so we recognize that every woman has that story.
Yeah, so true. I know even just for myself, I feel like I'm more open to fostering new relationships with more women. I find that I'm more open and I'm more comfortable sharing and expressing what my needs are and what it is that I'm looking for in a relationship, or when something might be hurtful, or if I just need time. This experience with you has taught me the value of being open and vulnerable.
Yeah.
And that it's not as scary as it seems, right?
Yeah.
And also just to identify these differences that, when you grow up with somebody, you have a very different relationship to
absolutely.
all of a sudden, there are things
we'll
about
never
me
see
that
her
I never
the way
see.
you see her, right?
That's right.
We'll never, ever.
Yeah, exactly. So
one thing
hard.
that I've noticed, I'm over 40, and one thing is to be completely unapologetic. This is who I am, and you can like me or not, but it's not going to change the work that I need to do, the way that I'll parent. I'm a single parent. I may not do everything right, but I do it with the best intentions.
Yeah, 100%.
And I do it, and I'm not afraid to admit that I've made mistakes or that I can work on things, because I think we always need to grow and become stronger in whatever it is we need to be. But I also am this is who I am. Yeah. And just not apologizing anymore.
Yeah, our mistakes don't define us.
No, they shape you into who you are, and it's a part of who I am now. And all of those past mistakes or past maybe missteps, or not even that. Like I try to live without any regret, because they've shaped who I am. I wouldn't have my 5 kids if I didn't get married twice. Yeah. Like I wouldn't be the woman I am if I hadn't got divorced. Like those type of things. And but it also makes me a little bit relatable to people, because I have these vulnerabilities. I have these things that happened to me that I had no control over, but they happened. But now what am I going to do about it?
That's right.
And how am I going to move forward in a good way that not just helps me or my kids, but helps other people in the community? Because I believe that our gifts and our talents are things that we need to share if we can.
Yeah.
And it helps us all grow. And if one of us is succeeding, we're all succeeding.
100%. I was just going to say, when we're open and vulnerable in these kinds of capacities, we're inspiring and we're leading and we're showing women who may be younger than us or women who are older than us that it's okay. It's okay to just be yourself. It's okay to just be who you are and to do whatever the things you're going to do. Because I think it shows other women that it is also okay, right?
Yeah. You can't be afraid of rejection either. Like everybody grows up very differently. Everybody has very different experiences. Not everybody's going to get all the things one person had compared to another, but not everybody's going to vibe on the same frequency as you.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which means that
they're not your people.
They're not your
people.
people.
And that's okay.
No.
We can't be friends with everybody. And that's the other thing that I can't wait to get into is this need to please everyone. But first, I wanted to have you have an opportunity to share, because I know you were really eager to be on the show today to share some stories that you've experienced about other women and friendships and what you've seen.
Definitely.
Because I feel like you've seen and heard a lot.
I am experienced. But first I would like to say that the champagne is not the cheap stuff, guys.
It's the good champagne.
It is the good stuff.
It's the good stuff.
And breakfast. And breakfast the next morning too, right? Like don't forget breakfast.
Casey's right next door.
You're good. You're good.
Excellent.
Growing up, I grew up in Timmins. I'm local. Everybody, there's a lot of you who know who I am. Hi, guys. It's me.
It's great. This is great that you have everybody tuning in tonight.
Yeah,
I love this.
I'm very glad to see that. There's a lot of people there that I have not spoken to in a while. I've not had the chance to reconnect with.
Nice. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, everybody local here knows kind of the way we were when we grew up, and it wasn't always the nicest. There's definitely a few experiences that are pretty questionable.
Timmins is rough.
It is. It is. And not everybody had the best lifestyle.
That's right.
However, it's the people that you keep around you. Your goal is to, especially women, is to kind of surround yourself by like-minded women. You don't want people putting you down. Oh, you're going out. Are you going to really wear that?
Yeah.
Girl, bye.
Yeah.
I like it.
Mhm.
And you know what? If I look silly, so what?
Yeah.
But I think nowadays I've noticed, especially getting older, I'm 31.
I am so old. Like, seriously.
The number just keeps getting bigger. I know.
31 as of the 11th. That my friendships are changing.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I had this large group of friends, and that has slowly just really kind of shrunk down. I have some good friends still, love you, from high school, but my main group of friends actually are in business with me. My best friend, hi Karen, works with me. She's my best friend. We have gone through so much. My support, that's what you need, a good support system. If you don't have a good support system, you're kind of doomed.
Yeah.
You need people. You can pretend that you don't, but you absolutely need people when things get tough. Accomplishments. It's just, you need that community, and if you don't have it, it's really a struggle. And for a very long time, I didn't have that. So things like the 26 coffees. That's a group of people, random people meeting up twice a month just to have coffee. Making those connections with people, absolutely, you should try it.
Okay.
There you go, Timmins Chamber. She's in.
Timmins Chamber. We're plugging you.
More. But just meeting up with those, and that's how I met you.
Yes.
And we connected instantly.
Yeah. Over putty.
Which
The band?
I just saw over the weekend. By the way,
I went to high school with them. I used to go to their concerts in the basement of the churches. Yeah.
See, there you go. That's the connection we made, though.
Saw them, got a picture with them.
There you go. See,
it's very easy. Like Karen, my best friend, we bonded over crappy, crazy hotel stories. We used to work together just as front desk kids, and it just kind of blossomed.
It's that common ground that you had together.
The naked man walking down the hallway, or the drunk guy passed out in the laundry room. And guess who gets to wake them up and get them out?
Yeah.
All those little things, and it could be as easy as going to sit at the park together. And I just really think that your friendships kind of growing up and getting older really define who you are, and they shape who you become. So if you don't have that, it's
lonely.
It is.
It's lonely and it's hard. Yeah.
You need to go find it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Katie, yes, 26 coffees. That is through the Timmins Chamber of Commerce. So you can take a peek at that. And it's an amazing program. I do it in North Bay as well. We're really big fans, Katie.
Yeah, it's super fun. You get to meet a whole bunch of new people. So it's great.
Cool.
So believe it or not, it's 7:35 already.
It's the time.
It's the time. So we are going to take a quick break. To everyone who's watching, thank you so much for tuning in. Don't forget to tag your friends, your sisters, your soul sisters.
Yes.
Gentlemen, if you are watching, make sure to tag the special ladies that are in your life who might be interested in our amazing prize. I can't believe we have another crazy prize tonight.
We are rocking the prizes. Yes, we are all over prizes. This is awesome.
Empowering women.
So if you're just tuning in, it's a night at the Super 8. There's a bottle of champagne and a $75 gift card for Casey's, which is right next door. So have the champagne, crawl over to Casey's, have some food, go back to the hotel room, and spend the rest of the night just laughing and talking and having a great time.
There we go.
Yeah.
We're going to do a quick sponsor reel. Shout out to all of our sponsors. We'll be back in several minutes. And we're going to do segment 2 and the Wheel of Winning.
File today, get paid today with Liberty Tax Timmins. Call today to see if you qualify. 705-531-0070. And get set for the 52nd annual Timmins Multicultural Festival. Happens the weekend of May 24th and 25th at the MAC. Follow the Timmins Multicultural Festival Facebook page for more detail. And seal the deal with Albert Seal and Katrina McInnes at Royal LePage, your Northern Realty leaders. Check out 1220 Ferguson Road today for only $559.9. Call Albert for a showing, 705-465-3493, or Katrina, 705-465-3491. And it's Election Day coming up April the 28th. Put a vote next to Nicole Forte-LaVike, NDP, for Kapuskasing Timmins Mushkegowuk. Nicole will defend public health care, fighting for more doctors and nurses, also fight for national rent control and put a price cap on groceries. This weekend is the 77th annual Schumacher Lions Club Spring Sportsman Show at the MAC. Happens this Saturday and Sunday, and it's only $5 to get in. And Saturday, May 3rd, come celebrate Beaver Fest, hosted by the Matagami Fur Council and the Matagami Lands and Resources. Celebrating 30 years from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. with an opening drum solo from the Thunder Creek Singers. A kids zone, live music, vendors, canine demonstrations, axe throwing, a beer garden, and more. Also, free shuttle details can be found on the Beaver Fest Facebook page. 94 Cody Avenue West is for sale with Jessica Gervais from Royal LePage, your Northern Realty leaders. Listed at $249.9. Book a showing, 705-360-7000. Get your tires swapped today during the Canadian Tire Timmins Big Spring Tire Sale. Save 30% off select big-name tires such as Motomaster, Goodyear, Continental, and more. And get your tickets for the Timmins Comedy Festival. Comes to the city this Thursday night, featuring the roast of Paul Bellini at Full Beard Brewing. Dinner and comedy at the Dante Club with Dave Mahersh. Saturday, it's a double bill featuring Magic Mel at 2 p.m. for a free Dare Timmins Kids show. And then 8 o'clock, Adam Groh hits the Timmins High Comedy stage with his Cash Cab style comedy quiz show. Get your tickets now at timminscomedy.ca. Book your carpet cleaning and strip and wax jobs today with DAP Cleaning Solutions for your commercial units. Call for your free quote. Call Andrew N. 705-465-3500. And Sweet Freeze Timmins now makes cotton candy. Blue raspberry, orange, grape, lime green, and how about the Kinsenklomp cherry? Stop into 175 3rd Avenue to pick up yours or order online, sweetfreeze.ca. And the Timmins Square gets set to launch their new Kids Club launch. Happens Saturday, May 10th, Center Court with Shenanigans. It's a Party Magicians Family Magic Show with Ron Gutman. 2 free shows to attend at 11 a.m. and 1 p.m. Get your tickets today for Rock of the River, July 18th and 19th at Hollander Park with Failed Attempt, Biff Naked, Pop Evil, and your Headstones for your Friday night rock night. And up with your Saturday night country night featuring Mitch Jean, Corey Marks, and your co-headliners Brett Kissel and Cooper Allen. Get your tickets on sale now at rotr.ca. For the best insurance of the North, it's PAIB Insurance, Inc. They've got your back, and they'll help secure the coverage you need. Stop into 101 Pine Street South in Timmins today or call 705-360-5300. They're real people dealing with real people. And follow Mel and Mel with the We Count Talk Show. This week, they chat with women in podcasts. Follow them for more details. You can email them at info@theconnecthers.ca. Book a test drive today with Timmins Hyundai. Up to $500 in savings on the 2024 Kona. Leasing as low as $81 per week and financing as low as $85 per week. Also save up to $7,000 on the 2024 Hyundai Ioniq 6 and the Ioniq 5. Stop in today to 800 Riverside Drive. Come drive for Lucian Transportation. New drivers pick up a $2,000 sign-on bonus, and it's paid training. Call today, 705-360-4090. For the best prices and mega deals, people are making the short drive to Matheson Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. Browse their lot today, 349 Highway 11 in Matheson, or call 705-273-2112. Book your family fun outing this week now at Midtown Bowl. Family deals start at only $59.99 per hour, which includes shoe rental up to 6 people per lane. Book your fun today, 705-267-3500. And be a vendor at the Timmins Canadian Mining Expo, Wednesday, June 4th and Thursday, June 5th at the MAC. It's where the world comes to explore. Visit and sign up at CanadianMiningExpo.com. Buy now and pay later at J&R Custom Cabinets. Inquire about no payments for 3, 6, or 12 months OAC. Design, building joy. It's your one-stop shop, 705-264-9692, or stop in and see their showroom at 1150 Riverside Drive. And 2 new menu items at Sparks Pizza. Try the new spicy India-style pizza and cotton candy milkshake. Pizza's topped with tikka masala, creamy mozzarella, sweet corn, red and green onions, chunks of paneer, and finished with a touch of oregano and basil. Dine in at 206 3rd Avenue or order yours online at sparkspizza.ca. With more than 75 programs to choose from, enroll today at Northern College. With campuses in Haileybury, Kirkland Lake, Moose City, and Timmins, enrollment is a click away at northerncollege.ca. She's the producer of Sportsman Channel Canada and Just Hunt Inc., Amanda Lynn Mayhew, and be a vendor at the Mother's Day Market with the Downtown Timmins BIA. Happens Saturday, May 10th, 10 a.m. to 3 at the old Tweed and Hickory building. Sign up today. Email them info@downtowntimmins.com. Put a team in today for the IG Wealth Management Walk for Alzheimer's. The Timmins Walk is Saturday, May 24th at the Mountjoy Pavilion, with 2 more walks happening in Kapuskasing and in Haileybury. Sign up for either walk at walkforalzheimer.ca. And with over 45 years experience, put your trust and move your packages today with Robert Champagne from Timmins Courier Service. 705-266-4285. And sign up for summer camp at Camp Bickle, the finest co-ed camping facility in all of Northern Ontario. Your kids will have fun, adventure, and make memories to last a lifetime. Sign up today, campbickle.ca. And on the big screen at Imagine Cinemas this week, Sinners, The King of Kings, and The Amateur. Tickets and showtimes at imaginecinemas.com. Win big every session this month at Jackpot Time Timmins. Win double-line prizes every single Saturday and Sunday in the month of April. And it's time to register your child now for kindergarten this fall with the Northeastern Catholic District School Board. To book a school tour and to get more info, ncdsb.on.ca. Still time to put a booth in for the 2025 Home Cottage and Lifestyle Show with the Timmins Construction Association. Happens May 3rd and 4th at the MAC. Call today to register, 705-268-3757. And good luck to all players competing this weekend at the Barn in the PMHA 3-on-3 tournament. And Dare Timmins brings you Magic Mel this Saturday afternoon, a part of the Timmins Comedy Festival. Now, it's a free show at 2 at Timmins High, but still secure your seats today at timminscomedy.ca. And Saturday night, 7 p.m., it's Spring Meltdown 3 at Terrio with Rock Solid Wrestling. How about this special appearance by Notorious TID? Tickets are on sale now at Elfie's, Wicked Stuff, and online at rocksolidwrestling.ticket.ca. And it's the grand opening of 3D Forge Works and the grand reopening of Typo Press Printers. Patrick Delisle and staff want to invite you Tuesday, April 29th for the grand opening celebration. 6 to 10 p.m. Come for the food, come for the refreshments. Come check out their new location at 159 Pine Street South.
And we're back. Welcome back, everybody. Willie, Sherry, thank you again so much for sharing your time with us tonight. For those of you who might be tuning in, tonight we are talking about sisterhoods and friendships and all of the things in between, the dynamics of friendships amongst women. If there's any men, I know I've seen a few of you in here. If you guys are watching, we're really, we're eager to hear if there's any significant differences that you kind of notice, the differences between women's relationships and the differences that you have with relationships with other men. But also don't forget to tag and make comments, because we have an amazing prize donated tonight. We have one night stay at the Super 8 with a bottle of champagne. And
good champagne.
Good champagne.
We are just not cheap over here, people. No, we're giving the good stuff tonight.
And a $75 gift card for Casey's Next Door to the Super 8. So we're just going to have a little bit more chitty chat, and then we're going to do the Wheel of Winning and give away this amazing prize. So we were just kind of chatting throughout the break, and we were wanting to kind of go back to the topic of the impact of life changes on relationships between women, because we go through so many different seasons in our life, whether we're young girls or we're going into teenagers or we're going into early adulthood, motherhood. We're ambitious career women, and we
half our lives are lived right here. I see you.
there's so many changes that we go through as women,
for sure,
right?
for sure.
And I think that's part of the reason why it can be so difficult to establish really long-lasting and meaningful relationships, because we were just saying, sometimes there's this obligation where you've known somebody for so long that you feel like you need to be friends with them because there's no other option, right? Or if you end up starting to go on a different path, maybe you're going on a more spiritual path and the friends that you've had are not on that path. But how do you set those boundaries? How do you move forward? How do you keep those people in your life? I think there's so much to talk here. So talk amongst yourselves.
Well, I think setting boundaries is very important. I mean, with childhood friends, your parents might have been friends and you grew up together, and that's great. But, once you hit about 14, things start to change, phases come out. People like different things. Some people might be what's considered more nerdy or, a little bit more athletic. And then
hippie.
High school hits and the cliques start. And, that can definitely be very daunting, and people feel like they have to fit into this one group. And it's really important for especially younger people to know you don't have to fit into any group. Your people will find you and you will find them.
And then you'll be a group.
And
a group is two people. Like, you don't have to have, it's definitely in this stage of my life, it's definitely quantity over quality.
Yeah.
I mean, or the other way around.
Definitely.
It's definitely I don't need a lot of friends. I don't need a lot of close friends. I just need friends.
You need
friends
good
that are there. I need good friends that support me, that understand me, that respect that I'm in 2 stages of motherhood. I have 3 kids who live on their own, are in their 20s, and then I have 2 kids under 10.
Oh, so you're like Jamie.
Yeah. Like, it's just, it's a weird stage of life. So when I had my older kids, all of my friends from high school, they were not married. They didn't have any kids.
Yeah.
And then they had their kids in between my 2 sets of kids.
So it was very different.
It was very different.
Yeah.
So I was just the lady with kids, right? I was a really young mom. So in school, I was a really young mom. And now I'm the really old mom. Like, everyone else is like at least 10, 15 years younger than me. I was at a play group and I said, I've been reading this book. It was a doctor's use book. I said, I've been reading this book for like 20 years. And they're going, what? I said, no, like, my daughter will be 25 this summer. I said, I've been reading this book for years. Like, I have it memorized. And they're like, oh my God. But just having those people that just support and understand you, and you don't have to explain everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
They don't need a big explanation of why you are they just get it.
Yeah.
And I have a good friend here in town who we just get it. She just gets me. And we don't talk every day, but sometimes all we do is FaceTime and sew.
Oh.
She sews at her house, I sew at my house.
That's so nice.
And there's not a lot of conversation, but there's
just there.
You're just there. What do you think about this? It's wrong. Take it out. Oh, okay.
I go grocery shopping every Friday with mine.
Oh, there you go.
See?
That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and that's the thing. I mean, we work together, so I'm very blessed to be able to kind of have that everyday journey with my best friends and
That's awesome.
my employees as well. But I think, like, especially with motherhood, especially young mothers, when you find out your friend is pregnant, you kind of don't really know how to act. So now you have this young mother who's trying to navigate not being able to go out with her friends. Not being able to hit the club, I think younger people don't understand how difficult and isolating that is. I'm not an expert.
It definitely is. It definitely is.
For sure.
But all my friends from high school did have children fairly young, not all, but quite a few. And it's just all of a sudden they disappear.
Right. Yeah.
And, shout out to everybody, but
it does. It changes it changes everything, because now you're a mom. So I recently that I have never lived alone as an adult. Never. I've had a roommate. I had I house sit for someone for a couple of months, but then I was a mom at 19.
Right.
And I was married, and then I had 3 kids, and then I was a single mom, and then now I still have kids. So I've never actually lived alone as an adult, which is very weird. Like, you think about that, you're going, wow, that's crazy.
What? I think I had 1 year in college where I had an apartment on my own. So maybe 8 months. And that's it.
Yeah.
Same.
So now when the little guys go off to their dad, it's very weird for me to be in the house.
Very bizarre feeling,
it's
right?
very weird.
Uncomfortable too, I would imagine, right?
It's a little weird because there's nobody there.
I get very peopled out very quickly. like because I've lived alone for so long now, going to school and then work and everything.
Yep.
I go home, face plant, just spread eagle. Nobody to nobody to share the bed with. No blanket hogging.
Oh, I love my
just
bed.
Just me and my stuffed dinosaur were great.
Yeah.
Stuffed dinosaur. I love it.
It's me and my cats and my new puppy.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, see, well,
Yeah.
Like even for us, so there's a 7-year difference between Mel and I. And obviously, we had very different stages. She was having her family, and I was out gallivanting across the country, driving in the middle of nowhere to climb a mountain. So it was really difficult for us to foster that relationship between the two of us, but not just as sisters, but as friends, because I didn't understand the struggles that she was going through, and she couldn't quite relate to the experiences that I was going through as well, right?
Right.
So it was really difficult to have those moments in life where you feel so separated from one another. But I think there comes a point where you have to have faith where the people that are meant to be in your life are meant to be in your life. And
It's not like you could shake me.
I can't
like
shake you.
seriously.
We tried. I moved across the country.
Like last week, I tried, but it didn't work.
But I think those people, you just have to have faith that even though if your friendship isn't in that season at that moment, it's not to say that you won't find that time to come back to one another. And I think that's what makes friendships and sisterhoods with women so special, is that we have this ability to kind of evolve personally and to go on our own and to explore and to find ourselves and to have these experiences, but still have that door open to the people who we really care about. And we still have this ability to welcome people and these women back in our lives and to share those experiences that we've had, right? And to just always be celebrating each other, even if it's from a distance, even though if you don't have that close relationship anymore, we can still celebrate them and we can still be cheering them on, even though we may not have as close of a connection with each other anymore.
I think another thing too, and maybe you guys will agree with me, but I feel like social media plays such a piece on people's lives and friendships, and everybody's so happy and everybody's lives are so perfect. And it's so hard when we know that that's not true, right? Especially if you're the person that's having the bad day and you're just like scrolling around looking for these connections and trying to connect with somebody that can just push you out of this space, right? And it's just so hard. It's unrealistic. It isn't true. I mean, when you say that, we find each other back, we're very fortunate that we've got a strong friendship, but we're also family. So at the end of the day, we will always find ourselves back together, but it doesn't always work like that for other people, right? So
I think once you understand and you can accept that, I think it makes it easier as well, right? To express whatever your needs are in that relationship. And if you need to set boundaries and if you need to say, hey, I feel like I'm kind of on a different path right now. I love you and you're still in my heart, but this is what I need to do in my life at this time. And I think that's what's so beautiful about women is when we can be open and we can communicate it that way. We understand and we get it. And we're like, yeah, you go, girlfriend. I get it. I love you. I'll see you in 10 years.
But that's sisterhood. You don't need to talk every day. The pressure of social media to just paint this perfect picture. No. Yes, it's nice to share your accomplishments.
Yeah.
Yes, Nova Award finalist. Yeah. But guess what? I had a migraine all day and cried myself to sleep over the Titanic yesterday. Yeah. There you go. But am I going to share that online?
Yeah. No. You just did.
you just did.
But the point stands. You want to put your best foot forward. You don't want people to know that you're having a bad day. Yeah. So when you have people that just kind of just know, yes, she's quiet today. Yeah. Maybe we just give her some space because that's the type of person that she is. Yeah. Or, maybe she needs a hug because that's the type of person that she is. Yeah. I think friendships with men and women too are also very different. My friendships with men and women are night and day.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
It's very hard to have a regular friendship with a guy in the eyes of other people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because obviously something's going on.
Yes.
Obviously.
But at the same time, you've got women who are pretending to be your friends and they're not your friends. So having boundaries and knowing yourself and knowing, just off the top of it, who you want in your circle, who you want walking beside you.
Yeah.
you can tell there's a connection there.
And it's got your back.
Exactly.
Right? That's so important.
Even if only from a distance. Whitley, Sherry, do you have anything you'd like to share on this, on the topic of just the life changes and, having these boundaries and coming together and finding distance between other friends?
Yeah, I think honestly, so for Sherry and I think distance, that's a big thing that I think that we can talk on, just because 4 years ago I actually moved away from my hometown and I moved to Toronto, and it was like one of the hardest decisions, one of the hardest things I ever had to do. And, of course, like both of us were heartbroken, the fact that I was moving away, because I just felt called to, right? I just felt like there was something there. And moving away, I think that there were fears around the distance coming between us. But honestly, in the 4 years of us being 2 different provinces apart, is like we have become the closest and the strongest that we ever have. And it's kind of like what you guys are saying, it's when you have that bond, when you have that connection with someone, you can go off and go down a different path. You can, there can be time apart from one another, but if it's meant to be, it's like you'll always find your way back. And I think just for like Sherry and I, we've had to learn how to build our friendship on distance. And so a lot of video calls, a lot of voice notes these days, hours and hours of phone calls. Like, honestly, I'm pretty sure her husband,
Lots of reels.
my husband says that I should pretty much marry Whitley, because he said that he told me the other day, he said, because Whitley and I had a little fight, we've had very little fights, like a small amount of fights, a handful amount of fights. And this fight was the biggest fight we've ever had. And he said to me, you know what? It's not worth throwing your friendship over. And plus you are sane when Whitley is in your life, and you would be insane if she wasn't. And basically was like, I do not want to be around you if you don't have Whitley.
More or less, he was like, okay, you guys need to make up now. So
pretty much. But he's so supportive of our friendship, and he doesn't feel threatened by it. Like maybe some husbands might, I don't know, but he doesn't feel threatened by it. He's almost like, just go hang out with your friend, be with your friend. Like, he knows that she's a part of me, that I can talk to her about things maybe I won't talk about to him, right? And so because those things are very special to me, we have hours of conversation. It feels like the distance doesn't even play a part in it. And you talked earlier about boundaries, and I think boundaries is something that because the stories that we've been fed as young girls, being rejected by a friend, or maybe you're having a conversation with someone and they're like, I have to go, those kind of things, and you feel rejected. We've both had to move through our own triggers of those boundaries. Talking on the phone, right? So like boundaries can be anything. Boundaries can be distance, boundaries can be in person, right? And it's just about like recognizing those triggers, recognizing what those buttons did to you in the past, and you don't need to bring them into your friendship now, but you need to talk about it and say, why is that coming up for you? And because of Whitley and I's relationship, if I have something that I need that's bothering me, she holds space for me, and she doesn't lash out at me. She doesn't like defend herself. She listens, right? And she's
can be so difficult right? Yeah.
She's like, right? Very uncomfortable. Yeah.
I've taught you some things too, so you should,
learn other things.
Oh, funny.
Yeah. Well, I think love languages are very important too. Everybody has different boundaries, but I think love language is important too. Personal touch. You hug your friends. I have an issue with personal touch. My friend is the exact opposite.
Okay.
So it is a matter of just kind of accepting each other's differences and being able to work around it and really kind of listen and understand. And
figure figuring out that rhythm almost, right, between the two of you that you can.
And I mean, if you guys are meant to be, then it'll be.
It will be.
Yeah. There's a thing of acceptance, and I know Rochelle, who's watching tonight, she made a comment. She had a long-lasting friendship that was for 16 years, and then that friendship kind of came to an end, and now she's struggling. And we brought the comment up. She's struggling to find the trust to open up and to be in other friendships with other women. And I can understand and appreciate that sentiment, because especially when you're friends with somebody for long, it's really hard not to take that personally, right?
It is very hurtful. And it's not just like the past, 16 years that you're letting go of. It's that future that you thought you were going to be sharing together. Like that's
all the sleepovers, the movie nights, everything.
Yeah, retiring somewhere together. Like there's just so many dreams that you probably talked about in those years that I've been in a very similar situation, and I totally understand. So it's very, very hard, and it's hard to move on from that. Like
it is. But I think there has to be that awareness of acceptance. And I feel like I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but there's seasons in our lives. But we also have to recognize that there's seasons in other people's lives too. So for whatever reason, you might only be in that person's life for a particular time and for a particular purpose. And I think once you come to that place of accepting that and understanding that it's okay when friendships kind of fizzle and fade away into the past, but I think when you can come from a place of being grateful for the time that you did have together and what you were able to offer each other and how to support one another during those times, I think it's easier for you to regain that trust, to be open to establishing new relationships and friendships moving forward, right?
And part of boundaries is also saying this friendship has to end for my mental health, or because we're going in different directions, or whatever it is, and we need to be able to say, this isn't working for me. This isn't where I want my life to go, and to move forward. I had to do that with a friend from, I don't know, I think we were like 10, and we were friends forever. Our boys are the same age. And just saying, this isn't healthy for me anymore.
Yeah.
You're taking too much, and I don't feel like I'm benefiting from this relationship. I feel very strained, drained.
Yeah.
I have to focus on being a good mom and all those other things in my life. And right now this isn't working. And we tried to come back together, and it just never has. It's not the same. And
you're no longer on the same frequency.
No, because we've grown separately now.
But it doesn't mean you don't love that person anymore.
No, definitely not.
Right? Or at least we hope.
Yeah, and you want what's best for them, and you want them to succeed and to find love and to be happy and to grow. But we just can't do it together.
Yeah. And I think women have a hard time doing that, because you have to, one, be very vulnerable, but two, you know that you're potentially hurting somebody else. And I think for women, that's a very uncomfortable thing to do. I'd be curious if men have the same type of experience with those friendships when they know that it's kind of coming to an end, or are they just like, see ya, I'm done, I'm good. It was nice for a beer.
I believe it's just like a disconnection.
Yeah.
Gone.
If there's any guys watching,
please
share,
let me
because
know.
I'd be curious to know if you guys have that same what's the word I'm looking for? Like conflict, that inner conflict of knowing that it's time to move forward, but you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings, but
you just stop calling and move on. Like, right? I think from our perspective, it looks that way. It looks easier for men for some reason. It's probably wrong.
They just
because
go home and cry about it instead of to their other friends.
Like I joke around, like at our house, raising 2 teen boys, they can fight it out and yell and scream, and then 10 minutes later, everybody's fine. Yeah. If it was 2 teen women, right, or teen girls,
that's a 3 to 5 business day transaction.
It would last a while.
I think bonds change, and I think just knowing yourself and understanding and accepting that you might not be somebody else's cup of tea and they might not be yours. Doesn't mean that your person's not out there. I am a firm believer that everybody, man or woman, has some kind of soulmate. A twin spirit, and you will find them. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow, but it could be next week. It could be in this chat. Who knows?
Exactly.
if you're willing to kind of put yourself out there and even joining clubs, doing things that interest you,
that's where you're going to find your people.
You're going to find your people.
Yeah.
And once you find your people, that's it. You're done. You don't need it anymore. then that's just networking.
Until life changes again, and then you got to go through it all over again.
Yeah, and everybody goes through everything.
Thing you have a TV show. And
next thing you know, you have a TV show.
Here we are.
Exactly. Everybody goes through loss. Everybody, gains relationships, loses relationships, wins the lottery, doesn't. I'm unfortunately one of the ones who doesn't. So if anybody out there that did, let me know.
I'm ready to be your friend. Here I am. I'm at the Super 8.
Yeah.
I have a small group. We're open to building a compound.
There you go. Just saying. All
Let me
right.
know.
There you go. There you go.
Vanessa, do you have any closing words of wisdom or anything that you would like to share with all the lovely ladies and gentlemen
Words of
watching?
wisdom. I think the first thing you have to do is be comfortable with who you are and accept. So for me, I had to, after my second husband just walked out and then COVID happened, I had to go and get help. Like I had to go and reach out and say, hey, I can't be this woman who's this mom. I have 5 kids all living at home. We're all stuck together. This is crazy. And I just felt like I have to get myself grounded. I have to understand who I am and what I need, and then I can move forward. So I really had to do an internal check and make sure that I was okay with me, okay with who I am and where I'm going in life. And I think that's important. We need to know who we are and what we're looking for. And for me personally, I mean, I've always joked about, wouldn't it be great to sew all day? Wouldn't it be great to just sit and sew? And I get to do that now.
Yeah.
Not all day long. I do have lots of other administrative things, but I get to choose. I'm going to go sit at the machine for a while.
Yeah.
And another dream that I had was to open a fabric store. And I am starting to open a fabric store. So our studio will have a little fabric shop. It's called the Quilted
wonderful.
TP.
Good for
So I'm
you.
really excited. I don't know how it's going to work, but
That's okay.
it's going to
It will
work. It's going to work. And just putting those things out there and being open to letting it come as it wants to. And again, being very unapologetic. I am who I am, and I can't change. There's certain things about me that I can't change now. I'm 45. Things aren't, we're kind of creatures of habit. But I want to be the best version of myself. So I want to hang out with women and friends who do that, who help me be the best version of myself. And who will say, hey, you need to come back. You've wavered over the yellow line. You need to get back in your lane and do what you need to do. And I want to surround myself with people like that of various ages.
Absolutely.
I love that. So wonderful. Whitley, Sherry, what about you? Would you like to share anything as we wrap up the show? Everyone's waiting for that wheel of winning.
I think what she just shared is like so beautifully and so well said. If there's
I'm
anything
45
else,
too.
if there's anything else I could add into that, it would be to really just allow yourself to open up to receiving friendships, to receiving love, to receiving that good energy, because so many times, oftentimes we go through, painful experiences. We go through things where we get hurt, where our hearts get broken. It's hard for us to trust again, like Rochelle was saying. And I think it's just really important to allow yourself that time to heal, really get to know yourself, like you're saying, and know where you're going as well, right?
Yeah,
It's so true. But to also give yourself the gift to love again, to open up to love and to trust and to be vulnerable and to be your authentic self. Because when you put that energy out there and you really allow yourself to step into that, it's amazing. It's so beautiful how the universe works in our favor, and like we'll bring the right people in. We'll bring everything in that you need. So that's what I would share.
Yeah, ditto on that.
Right.
I mean, we're one, right? We think. I think what you guys said was everything you guys said was like so on point. Like the frequency, the boundaries, the, being true to yourself, all of that, And I think as women, we have to shed those layers, and finally see who we are and our true identity. And like Whitley said, surrender to the process, surrender to the surprises in life. Don't just look at the destination, look at the little gifts in life and be present every single day, because there's so many gifts around you that you're not noticing. And I think for me, it's like, I also have 3 kids. I'm 45 years old, just like you, right? And so I know what it's like to look out at everything and be like, where's my life going? And taking care of this, but not really sitting in the moment and saying, you know what? I'm going to smell the roses today. And I think that's what we need to take away every single day, is to take even 5 minutes to do that, and to recognize that our life is a blessing and we get to make the choice. We get to choose how we live our life, because for so long we have been told a story of how we need to be. And we were told, right? And so now I think it's taking charge of who you are and recognizing that person that you never really met, and go back and see, ask her questions, go back and visit her and talk to her and ask her who she wants to be, what she wants to do, you know?
Yeah.
And you'll find her. And it's a process, but you have to give yourself grace every single day and live in the moment.
I agree.
Definitely.
We're getting
some time every day
amazing comments.
to do something that brings you joy.
Yes.
Whether it's that reality show, or it's, you know, that glass of wine, or that hot chocolate, or for me, you know, go upstairs and just sew something. Do things that bring you joy, and then find a sister that can do that with you.
Oh, I love that.
Yes,
Look at you.
definitely.
That's wonderful. I love that.
That's the wisdom in the gray hair show.
I love it.
What about you, Mel? Do you have any last thoughts that you want to share?
I don't know. I've been reading a lot of these comments, and they're just like
I know,
heartwarming.
right?
Yeah. I've been on, you know, as you know, like I've been on the receiving end of a lot of friendships ending, unfortunately. So as much as it is hurtful to me and it's hard to move on, I've also made some new friends that I didn't expect to find along the way, that found that common ground, that gets me, who drops off a thing of ice cream on my step just because she thinks I need it. You know, there's a few people that I've unexpectedly come across that I think I needed, but I didn't know I needed. Right. And they're not taking anyone's place, but it's just a different time and a different understanding. And I think that has helped me heal more than anything. So those are my,
That's so beautiful.
Nice.
yeah.
I think for myself, I've always found it really difficult to establish and maintain friendships. I'm very comfortable being alone. I'm very, Mel's like, you know, and just, I've always felt judged. I've always never felt like I was in place with where I was supposed to be. And I never felt connected with people, and everything always felt really surface level for me. I never really felt very many deep connections with women. And I think that really prevented me from having really deep, meaningful relationships with people. But also being 45 years old, I've come to a point in my life where I've recognized that without the women that are in my life, I probably wouldn't be where I am right now.
No.
Right. I've had to really open myself up to being available to be in friendships with people, and to just be like, hey, I really like you. I really want to be your friend, but I might only call you once a year, if that, because I don't like being on the phone. You know, so that's always been a really huge barrier for me. But knowing that I have women who understand me and who get me and who are still cheering me on from the sidelines, even when they know I need that space, that just makes the world of difference for me. And it gives me that passion for waking up every day, being myself and being okay with who I am. And as a result of that, it's made it easier for me to make those connections now with other people.
Yeah,
but
I agree. Good job.
Thanks.
You're
welcome. Thank you. Oh my goodness, what an amazing show. Everybody who's watching, we have been reading your comments, and oh, sorry, Jamie, I hit the microphone. They mean so much to us. And thank you everybody for being vulnerable and for sharing and for being here tonight. And I know you've all been sticking around to the very end for the wheel of winning. I can't help but say it that way. So
She says it all the time at home.
I do it
all
in my
the
sleep,
time.
I'm sure. My husband like to it out. So Jamie, let's bring up the wheel. Let's get her going.
Let's do it.
The Wheel of Winning, brought to you by PAIB Insurance Inc. We are real people dealing with real people. Locally owned and operated in downtown Timmins, 101 Pine Street South. Call toll free 1-844-360-5300.
Here we go. Hey, we're in there too.
How did that happen?
I don't know. Kids and Club. I don't think so.
Yeah, no.
Let's try that again.
Has that ever happened before? Yeah, it has. Yeah.
It's rigged. It's rigged.
Yes,
Saint
Saint-Germain.
Congratulations. What a wonderful prize for you and somebody special, I would imagine.
Yeah, congratulations.
So
This
great.
is so exciting.
That is awesome.
Well, ladies,
Thank you
Thank
so much
you.
for being
It's
here.
been
Lovely
such a
sharing.
great
Thank you so much for being here
conversation.
tonight.
thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for streaming in and being a part of our show and being open to this idea that that we had to have you on. And thank you, ladies, for joining us.
Oh, my pleasure.
What a fun discussion. I'm so glad that we had an opportunity to do this together.
Yeah,
Really,
this was
Yeah,
great.
and then thank you, Mark and Jamie, for all of their help behind the
Always.
scenes. And thank you to all of our sponsors for our show, Financial Empowerment Coaching with Jenna Burke, Cooperators, Plan A Timmins, Super 8, all of the other Kins and Klump sponsors. Thank you so much for all of your support. We'll see you guys again next month with our next topic, women in male-dominated industries. Yeah, women in trades. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
It's finally Friday night here in Nashville, Tennessee. Got a hankering for a honky-tonk in a backwoods pour of a nice cold something. My boys just hit me up, said, hey, come on down to Broadway. Man, my baby's gonna be upset. Haven't spent much time with her since last week. But I've learned a valuable lesson on how to calm her down. So listen up and heed my words before she lays that hammer down. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. With compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Let's go. Bartender just called, last call, got an Uber on the way. Stop by the old greasy spoon for some famous southern biscuits and gravy. I sobered up just enough so I could deal. And then I rocked my baby, rocked my baby, rocked her like a wagon wheel. When I woke up hung over as heck, I could tell she was still upset. So I held out my arms and turned on the charm. Funny how she forgets. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. With compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Man, life don't always go down easy, but if you wanna make it smooth, listen up, here's a guarantee. You gotta hold her like a beer, hold your baby nice and close. Tell her she's the only one, never let her go. Wrap your arms around her like a pot of gold. Let those peaceful rivers flow. Hold her like a beer, fill her up to the rim. With compliments and I love yous to the brim. Tell her she's the best thing that's ever been. Then head out with your friends, but first hold her like a beer. Yeah, hold her like a beer. You gotta 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 hold her. You gotta hold her. Yeah, squeeze her, make her feel loved. You do till I can't get enough. Do that thing you do, baby, turn it out. Do that thing you do, shake me up, show me how. Do that thing you do. 'Cause I need another reason, something else I can't believe in. Now don't you make a second more. Give me what my heart's been waiting for. Get up and now and drop it. Nothing gonna stop it. I wanna see your passion to the beat, from head down to you, the bottom of your feet. Do that thing you do, make me fall in love. Do that thing you do, till I can't get enough. Do that thing you do, baby, turn it out. Do that thing you do, shake me up, show me how. Do that thing you do, and drop it. Nothing gonna stop it. I wanna see your passion to the beat, from head down to you, the bottom of your feet. 'Cause I thrill, and I need to know it's true. You know I will go ahead and follow.